There's been a lot of discussion about reform. When has the system ever been reformed? If it can be reformed, if it can be changed, if it can be redeemed, show me a model or a time that it has been, and then we can have a discussion. Most police forces are controlled by the municipality, by the city, by the town that it resides in. The people within that community get to say, what they desire or what they expect from the people who's supposed to protect and serve them.
Right.
And there were two cities throughout the whole country that are not ran by the municipality or the local government. And those two cities happen to reside in the state of, and yet the politicians went against the will of the people. Now, that's not democracy, but it also demonstrates that oftentimes what we think is a democracy is a fallacy.
Money on land to build a new city jail. This is where they spent months and months scheming with jail proctors like J.E. Dunn and SFS architects on their despicable plan to lock up our people.
Like abundance, right? Like we don't have to go out of our neighborhood to get the things that we need. We need to, get food or vegetables. There's like a vegetable garden or someone nearby who has access to those things.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ronnie Amiyn, and welcome to We Keep Us Safe, the Movement podcast show. And tonight, we got a very, very special guest. And first, before I get off into that, remember to all my core followers, remember, I told y'all that I'm going to be starting doing podcast shows from Kansas City to St. Louis to Chicago. Now, I'm finally made my way to St. Louis, and we kicking it off with one of the greatest organizers here in St. Louis. This guy has done 25 years in prison, got out, transformed his life completely around, been working hard for the community, going hard for the community. He organized with Freedom Community Center. He also have organized with Black Men Build, and he's done work, I believe he organized with Expo, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yep. And mentor, leader of the community, protector of all Black women, protector of the Black community. Give a nice welcome to my brother,
What's up, brother?
my family, Ronnie Amiyn.
What's up, bro?
What's
I
up,
appreciate that that intro, and I accept it, right? But it's important that I make mention that in my work or whatever contribution I make to the community, it's not because I'm some great figure, some individual who has poured in more than others. I'm just a follower of those who poured into me, and whatever work I do in the communities, because it's a responsibility of a responsible neighbor, of a responsible citizen,
Right.
And it's also, I want to say, an act of accountability for individuals who have created harm in the community, individuals who have undermined the community in meaningful ways. This is my act of redemption, whatever work that I do. So it's nothing to put me in a special classification or group. It's just me showing up in the way that I believe we should show up.
Yeah, I feel that. When I was just locked up this last time, doing a federal stint, I didn't have an idea what it was I wanted to do when I came home, but I knew it was something that I had to do for the community that I have been harming for all those years, and I didn't know how that looked. So luckily, I tell everybody this story. Luckily, when I came home from prison, you came home a year before me, and you was already organizing. you was telling me to come on, but I really didn't know what was going on. So it took me about a year and a half to catch on. I was like, oh yeah, this is where I should have been. So yeah, I feel you on that. So you spent 25 years in the system. I believe I read something said you did 5 years in solitary while you was in there too, off
Yeah,
and on, or
yeah.
at one time. Um, so tell us about yourself and what made you get off into organizing.
I think my story is no different than a lot of young black men who have grown up in the inner city with systematic oppression and racism, growing up in communities where there's a lot of violence, a lot of harm that happens, and a lack of resources, uh, and a lack of positive role models. And because of that, I gravitated to those things that were attractive, and especially, yeah, just I function not with a goal or a plan in life. Um, I had been impacted by a lot of harm within family dynamic and within the community, and I didn't have the coping mechanisms to deal with life's issues. So just like a lot of young black men, I tended to lash out, and harm others, um, by whether it was selling drugs, robbing, shooting, fighting, all that other stuff that young black men tend to get sneered by within the community. And because of that, because of a lot of things that I had faced in life, I ended up in prison at 19 years old. And when I went into prison, I had met individuals who poured into me as their pathway of redemption and atonement for the harm that they may have committed in life, to ensure that the young brothers that were coming in would leave in a better condition, leaving out, and position us in a way that we can make significant contributions to the upliftment and preservations of our community. Um, so I was fortunate to meet individuals who
Yeah.
were my mentors, that were my guys, brothers, who were like my father figures, and they just caught me at the right time where I was just questioning life. Why am I in this predicament? What led me to get to this point? And I just started to do a lot of introspection, soul searching, and just wanting something different. And I knew that as I was in that moment, I was terribly inadequate as a man. So I just want to engage in a process of maturation and growth and grow into what I believed a man looked like. And I've met many iterations of that throughout my transformation, but I was just committed to my growth, and wanting to go back out and be the son that my mother deserved, be the big brother that my siblings deserved, be the neighbor and community members that our people and community deserve, and be a model for a balanced and healthy and well-meaning black man for our black women. Um, so it's just a desire for me to want to be better.
You said something about role models, and I always say this too, because growing up in my neighborhood, like our older homies, they taught us how to sell drugs. They taught us how to gang bang. Like my role models sucked.
Yeah,
Like they taught us how to make a whole lot of money, but told us nothing about investing in buying houses. Like they told us absolutely nothing that was beneficial.
yeah, and when we say that, I think it was similar for me. I also have to acknowledge there were a few role models, but I just didn't see them because of the abundance of all the negativity that was happening. But even with those individuals who may have guided us upon the wrong pathway, we have to remember that it's cyclical. It's a part of a cycle.
Yeah, they
So
they
just
didn't get taught nothing.
yes,
Yeah,
yes. So
didn't
just
nobody
like we
teach
were
them nothing.
impacted, they were impacted in a certain
Yeah,
way. So there has to be a moment in which we stop and address the harm that has happened, address the cognitive distortions, address the dysfunctions. There has to be a moment in which we stop and work to create a more positive pathway for those who are coming behind us. So even with the negativity, I still want to shout out to the people that we've engaged with, because there are redeeming qualities in all of us.
Most definitely.
And that doesn't mean that they were any less human beings. It just means that they were impacted in a way that was not desirable, but I still see their humanity.
Yeah, most definitely. A lot of folks talk about reform, and you've talked about abolition and alternatives to punishment
Mm-hmm.
in the past. What does abolition mean to you personally, and how did your lived experience shape that definition?
My lived experience. So when we talk about, oftentimes when we talk about abolition and reform, it's often in relationship to incarceration or the carceral system.
Right.
Because many people are presented with the opportunities, the options of arrest, incarcerate, punish, and that is the answer to address harm and violence that happens in our community. Well, those of us who've been on the other side know that that particular response creates more harm. It destroys families, it takes resources out of communities, and it doesn't address the issues that have impacted the individuals who go through the system. So a lot of people say you can reform the system. They say, hey, we should work to change the system. But the question is, there's been a lot of discussion about reform. When has the system ever been reformed? If it can be reformed, if it can be changed, if it can be redeemed, show me a model or a time that it has been, and then we can have a discussion. So what we know is that the system is not capable of being transformed because there are so many factors who derive benefit from it functioning in the way that it does. Being in a capitalist society, there are many people who derive benefit from people going to prison, whether it's corporations, whether it's politicians, whether it's the system of that perpetuates degradation of one class of people, one community of people. It's just what it is. If you look at the history of incarceration, it is as apple pie. It is as American as baseball and everything else. So it can't be reformed because it's interwoven into the fabric of what it is. So what this country is. So my belief is it has to be dismantled. It has to be dismantled, but not just, we just can't say, do away with prisons, do away for, and not have an answer. Abolition is not just about the destruction of something. Abolition is building a system that is better for us, one that is based in fairness, equity, based in dignity, and valuing the life of people and valuing wellness. And it's about repairing and restoring. That's what we want to replace with what we have.
All right.
And it means also pouring resources into the community, pouring the resources or making the resources accessible to the individuals whom deserve it. And as a community, we know what's best for us. We know what's best for us. So we don't need anyone outside of our community who has no real stake in our community to try to determine how we should facilitate our affairs. So abolition is about replacing the system with something better, not just anarchy, not just turn down stuff, but it's about rebuilding building something that is more beneficial.
Hey, you said you was talking about people outside the community saying what's good, what's best for us in our community. It got me thinking about the people out in St. Charles.
Mm-hmm.
That was what they just do down here. They got they voted for that the state to run the police?
Yeah. So yeah, that's a thing. And that's another example. So in the country of the United States of America, most police forces are controlled by the municipality, by the city, by the town that it resides in. The people within that community get to say, what they desire or what they expect from the people who's supposed to protect and serve them.
Right.
And there were 2 cities throughout the whole country that are not ran by the municipality or the local government. And those 2 cities happen to reside in the state of Missouri on equal side,
I'll
Kansas
say in one.
City and St. Louis.
Most definitely.
But in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, the people work and organized and voted and petitioned that the control of the police go back into the hands of the people. And they won, right? But then there were outside forces that say, we believe that the state should have control of the police force. And there were so many contributing factors, whether it was political, social, or for lack of a better word, I say financial or corporate interests. So yeah, that's a whole discussion and a whole can of worms. But that is another example of people who do not reside in a community trying to determine something for the people who reside in the community.
Yeah.
They don't even live in this community. They just want to be able to so-called feel safe when they come into our community for their baseball games or their hockey games,
game, the
or
new soccer game.
or the ride take something from our community but not really pour into our community. But our people said that's not what we want, and yet the politicians went against the will of the people. Now that's not democracy, but it also demonstrates that oftentimes what we think is a democracy is a fallacy. So that's a whole nother conversation.
Let's move on to your work with Freedom Community Center.
Yeah.
Freedom Community Center centers survivors as the solution. How do you help people see that community closest to the harm holds the answers for safety?
Yeah. I forgot who actually said it. I forgot the brother's name. But the whole quote is, the people who are closest to the solution are closest to the answer.
Yeah.
I mean, people who are closest to the problem are closest to the solution, but furthest from the resources.
Yeah.
I believe that's it. I hope I didn't mess it up. And if I did, brother, please forgive me. Please forgive me for not shouting out your name.
It's the truth, though, however you put it.
Yeah. But it's also important that, because a lot of times we say quotes or sayings, but not really attribute to the people who initiated it. Yeah. So I just want to give a shout out to brother, even though I forgot your name. But yes, in organizing the people, it's important to educate the people about the systems that impact their everyday lives. Have a deep education process in which we can gain an analysis, a shared analysis about the things that harm us and about our ability to impact the system. Because a lot of times, man, community members don't really understand how they could positively impact their day-to-day or their quality of life, or utilize their voices and their experiences to enact the type of change that they want to see in community. They don't know.
Yeah.
So it's important that we create a space where there can be deep political education and us really imagining something better, something more. And we all collect these ideas and formulate a plan and formulate a plan and a strategy, and then mobilize. And that is one of the strategies of Freedom Community Center, and that's our power builder component. Power building and organizing and mobilizing the people. So sometimes we in the street doing the work. Sometimes we knock door to door, doing our canvassing, and sometimes we get the people down to City Hall or in front of the jails.
I remember those was the days. I remember when I was a power builder for Freedom Community Center.
Yeah,
Those was the days. I loved
yeah,
it. I
yes,
loved it.
and I appreciate it, and I appreciate not just Freedom Community Center, but the other organizations, initiatives,
Yeah.
and movements that are doing the work to organize and mobilize our community. But it has to start with the education process,
Yeah.
and gaining a shared analysis. Because a lot of times there are people who profess to have the interests of our community, um, but they lack an analysis, man. And sometimes they function like dinosaurs, and sometimes they function like capitalists or uh, exemplify the characteristics that are not conducive to our advancement and our preservation. So, yes, education and gaining analysis is crucial to power building.
Most definitely. We back in Kansas City, I organized with the Incarcerated KC, and we got different teams, and I'm a leader and part of the Black Council team we got, and so we been discussing, and we came to the conclusion that this year we're gonna do like 3 month series of political education
Mm-hmm.
on different things around the World Cup that's coming this year in Kansas City,
Mm-hmm.
and there's these trailer jails that they trying to build for the World Cup. Just getting the people just politically educated, get them put up on point of what's going on in the city and how we have the power to enforce and stop the things that they just trying to push past them. Because like you
Mm-hmm.
say, a lot of people don't even be knowing these things going on until they get educated and put on point to what's really going on. Like, yeah, we can stop this.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I love that. Uh, also, you led outreach and mentoring, especially with people who've caused harm. So, how do you approach building trust with folks who the system wrote off?
Um, Building trust requires to be honest and authentic. Um, yeah, as a mentor, to be honest, I kind of sucked, so to speak. And I say that because we have participants that come in and we are assigned people. And in that assignment afterwards, you build relationships with people. And it's a part of like the job, right? It's a
Mm-hmm.
job description. But I'm not too good with um, inauthentic relationship building. Like I'm just not that type. You know what I'm saying? Like my relationships are organic and authentic, right? So in that way, I kind of suck, right?
Yeah,
Because you got to build a relationship, making connection with somebody,
and
and
hope it
because
worked.
yeah, yeah, and I don't, I'm just not good at coming with angles and ulterior motives. And this is a job, yes, and I get it. It's a part of a greater mission, and I get it. So because I get it, I do it.
Yeah,
But I'm just not good with, just phony relationship building.
kind of like manipulating a person to
Yeah,
be cool
yeah,
with you. Like,
yeah, and I'm not good with that. So how I approach it is just create a space where a relationship can develop, and I allow them to lead.
yeah,
Um, I'm not trying to get somebody. I'm not trying to manipulate somebody to a desired point. I just want to create the space where a person's heard, where a person's seen, um, and share parts of myself because that's also a part of creating trust. Letting someone see that you're also, or being vulnerable, and let somebody seeing that you're also flawed, that you've made some mistakes in life, and it's not about the mistakes, but the opportunity to redeem and repair and correct. Um, yeah, so just being vulnerable and being open, and being trustworthy and tell the truth, like really tell the truth, not only
yeah,
about myself, but the systems and what what we have the capability and capacity to do as an organization. And that often opens people up. But yeah, I just can't, I can't manage relationships that are not organic.
Me neither. Like, I be wanting to be a mentor, but I be thinking about what you just said. Like, they just throw somebody to you, and it's like,
Yeah, yeah.
and I
But
ain't that. I'm friendly, but I ain't that friendly.
yeah,
I
yeah.
ain't that friendly.
Yeah, most of my relationships
I
are,
gotta know you.
by introduction. Somebody introduced you, or just familiarity. You've seen somebody around a while, and you're like,
Yeah.
"Hey, what's up? Hey."
Don't
But
just throw
outside,
nobody to me.
yeah,
Like, hey, that's your mentee. Like, okay. What up, homie?
yeah. And
No.
but my work with outreach, um, that requires engagement too. But that's more so just the presentation of who we are as Freedom Community Center, what services we have, and just inviting people to the space. A lot of people, of course, we are a relatively new organization. We're coming on 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
But initially, nobody knew about Freedom Community Center. Nobody knew about the work. And fortunately, us working to be seated in authenticity and I forgot the other word I want to use. I forgot. But us trying just to be, serve the people in a meaningful way, that has begun to be manifest and people can see it. But I love engaging with folks, though. I love, meeting and interacting with folks. It's just the relationship part. So that means I may attend events where the people are, community events where positive things are happening. Maybe uh, I, um, I do canvassing. Maybe I do interviews. Maybe one-on-ones and talk to some of our stakeholders or politicians. Yeah, maybe a host of things, but in essence, it's just getting the word out about what we do with the hope of informing community members that there is alternatives to the systems that we were always told were the answers. That people have option, that people have agency, but most important, like we have the power to impact the system that impacts our lives.
Most definitely. Good answer. Um, let's talk about the philosophy of true accountability versus punishment. What does accountability looks like if it's not rooted in cages?
Yeah. So we're often told that accountability equates with harm or punishment.
Mm-hmm.
We know that the system is rooted in, I won't even say retribution, but that's the mode. Like uh, harm was created, so we got to impose harm on you, but you haven't acknowledged that there was harm before that harm, that you have to answer with the harm, right?
Yeah.
So true accountability is rooted in identifying what was the impact of the harm and how do you repair it? Because our system doesn't focus on, when I say our system, we're talking about the
Prison.
carceral system, prison
Yeah.
system, the courts and police.
Department of Corrections.
Yeah, it doesn't focus on repairing the harm. So we believe in engaging in indigenous practices, which is like, tribal affairs, community affairs, the affairs of the village, where we ask, what was the harm and how can the harm be replaced? So that means a discussion has to happen with the harm and the harm party. The harm party should be able to say how they was impacted, how you hurt them, how they feel mistrust, disappointment. And the one who is responsible for the harm should be given the opportunity to learn of their impact, to learn in their agency in the creation of harm, and develop a true pathway of accountability, which should include an opportunity to repair, reconcile, and restore. That's what true accountability is. But also it's accompanied with communal accountability. Because as a community, we should have the option or willingness to say, how did this happen in the first place? And what can we do to prevent this from happening? So for instance, a good example is if there's somebody who has a real need, they have a real need, they're hungry, they have a family to feed, and they steal something. Not out of malice, not to harm, but to feed themselves. So as a community, we respond with, why was that necessary? And what can we do to ensure that no family has to starve? What can we do to ensure that we have an adequate response to the unhoused community, to ensure that people are warm during winters and cool during summers and are able to provide for themselves in a dignified way? It is how we show up as a community to address the harms that happen in our community. So that is my belief and understanding about true accountability and collective or community accountability.
Okay. I like that. We finna move on to some more about restorative justice, right? So restorative justice is the central of FCC's model.
Yes.
So I want to move in. I want you to explain the healing circles. I want you to explain the healing circles to someone who believes that justice is punishment.
Yeah. And we call it the healing circles, but again, I'm like hella like transparent and honest. And just healing circles sounds so hella corny, right? It just
I like the
profoundly.
healing circles,
Yeah,
man.
just
I
let's
like
get in the
healing circles.
circle.
I like the
Like
healing
this,
circle.
but the circle isn't like the end all and be all. It's just providing a space where a conversation can happen, a space where we give room for healing and the acknowledgement of some ugly things, right? It is that space. The circle is being at Big Mama's house, and you may have done something that was not good, and Big Mama sit you down and let you know why you shouldn't have done that, and she gives you an opportunity to redeem yourself, or being at Big Mama's house and you fight with your cousins. And she said, now y'all sit down. And she discussed why y'all should be fighting. Now y'all family. And she gives you that speech. That's essentially what the circles are. An opportunity where you can reconcile. And it gives the opportunity for us as a community to step up. So you not only have your harmed and your harmed party, but you have their representatives, their family, their people within their pods that support them. And then you have people that help facilitate the discussion, people who are impartial. And that's what we believe in, being able to intervene in situations and, just promoting peace.
Okay. And the Group Track Cohort.
Yeah.
Freedom Community Center runs the Free Us Group Track program to help heal and stay out of to help people heal and stay out of pretrial detention.
Mm-hmm.
What does that program do that the legal system refuses to do?
So let me, I'll answer that question. That program does what the legal system refuses to do, is see the humanity in our people, not throw away our people, not see the worst in our people, and really wanting to address the root causes that led the people into the situations that they are experiencing. That's what the program does. And it encompasses a lot of different curriculums and in parts of the program, such as...
Well, hold up. First, tell the audience what this Group Track is and what is it for.
Okay.
Because we jumped the gun a little bit.
Thank you for that. So the Group Track is our response to saying that you have to throw away people to address the things in the community that you deem undesirable, which is prison. So what we do is people who on pre-trial, that means people who are locked up in jail, who are accused of committing harm in our community, When we talk about harm, we talk about serious harms like assaults and murders and other things, manslaughter. Um, we present these individuals with an opportunity to, what we talked about earlier, uh, identify the harm that they've committed in the community and help. We try to help facilitate the repairing of that harm. So we engage people who need support in their release. Uh, Pre-trial, I forgot the terminology. It just escaped me.
Pre-trial release.
Yeah, but I forgot. Please excuse me.
That's all right.
But we basically, people need a sponsor to sign them out of incarceration confinement, pretrial confinement. So we sign them out. First, we go into the jails. We interview people who are compatible with our program. And if they are willing to be a part of our program, they are willing to be accountable, they're willing to be honest, they're willing to be open and transparent, then we support them in their release. They come, admit them into our program, and in that program, they get nonviolence curriculum, group therapy, individual therapy, and we support them materially and morally, and just support them on their path of repairing the harm that they've committed. And the hope is to facilitate a circle with the people whom they harm, to encourage healing. And that's one of the things that our system doesn't do. Our system says you've committed a harm, there's a harm party, healing doesn't need to happen. We're going to take you and facilitate more harm by separating you from your family, separating you from community, and not really address the things that led you to the situation. And it then leaves a person who has been harmed with no real process of addressing the harm,
Right.
outside of knowing that that person is being harmed.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the system for you in
Yeah.
a nutshell.
So that's essentially. So again, this has just been the process of the American criminal legal system. And FCC just wants to provide a model for something that's different, something that promotes wellness and healing in our community.
All right. So look, for folks listening, if someone wanted to join or support a cohort, what would you tell them about what to expect and how to show up?
You can contact us directly. So one thing. So we got a number of different tracks, a number of different things that we're doing within Freedom Community Center. Earlier, we talked about our power building, us really mobilizing, organizing our people.
Base builder.
Yes, base building. And then you have our intensive track or our transformative justice track, in which we are supporting people who have been impacted by harm and violence. And then you have the group track, who support people who have created harm. So in these
I was
particular,
a participant in the second one.
Yes.
What was the name of it?
Yes. Hold on. Let's go. Wait. We'll come back to that. So with these two, there are a referral pathway, which you can call up and say, "Hey, I have this situation. We'll do an interview, and if we can support them, there'll be an intake process. But you can contact us. We have a website, Freedom Community Center. It's easy to find, easy to Google. We're on all social media platforms. And you can just get us at us in any way possible. But on our website, there is a part where it gives our contact information, but also a section where you can leave a message.
Okay.
So we're very easy to contact. And as soon as we get that message, we'll reach back out and try to determine how we can support.
All right. I want to hop back. I want to hop into your Ghana trip, but first I want to try this out.
What's that, bro?
This is watermelon
I'm
refresher.
saying, what is it?
What is it? It's a
Yeah.
juice from Juicy J. Juicy J. Juicy J. She actually her name is Erica. Erica, she owned a juicery out in St. Charles on Main Street, 215
Can I
North
taste it?
Main Street. Yeah, taste it. I'm finna taste mine. I'm finna see what it's about. This a little flyer and stuff. I just bought this juice from her, and I just bought some Oreo bites. Now I ate the Oreo bites on the way here.
Yo, this is fire, bro.
And them Oreo bites was smacking. But
Yo.
I'm finna see what this juice about. That's the only reason I went for the
What you
juice.
say, St. Charles?
St. Charles, 215
Yo.
North Main Street.
St. Charles is a drive from here. It's
35
about
minutes.
About 35 minutes, but I would drive 35 minutes for this juice, bro.
I had some water in there.
I feel like I can do some push-ups now.
Oh yeah. Let me see what this is about. I love pineapple.
Yo, this is fire.
Watermelon.
You can taste, like I sound like a commercial now. You can taste the freshness. Yo, this is refreshing, yo.
Hold up. Oh yeah. This is right here. Don't put it on ice. The ice do it no justice. This fire.
This is cantaloupe, pineapple, lemon, apple, cucumber. And I can't see the last one. Yo, I'm straight getting old.
Oh, that's the one right there.
Yo, this is fire, bro. Juicy J.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
What's your name? Can you tell us about your place?
Oh, of course. I'm Erica, and this is my place. This is Juicy J. So many of you guys know we started in Fox Park, but we are now on Main Street, St. Charles, 215 North Main Street. So we have expanded. Let me take you on a quick little tour. Juice fridge is still back here, but we are a full gift shop now, guys, and metaphysical store. So candles, crystals, plants, all your favorite things. Come and see me, Juicy J. Okay.
Juicy J.
Yeah,
Oh, I see the play on words. It's like
Juicy
Juice
J.
EJ.
Yeah, Juice
Juicy
EJ.
J.
Yeah.
Juicy.
I
Yo.
seen it. I'm like, oh yeah, she clever too.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all fuck with Juicy J, man.
Shout out to Erica. Salute
Yeah.
to you.
Most definitely. Now, you just went to Ghana.
Yeah.
Mass Liberation Network.
Yeah. So Freedom Community Center, we are in deep relationship with an organization called Mass Liberation, and they do a lot of beautiful work around the country in terms of toward just Black liberatory work. And they have a number of different programs in which they train Black organizers, Black and brown organizers from around the country. And one of their programs is the BIG program, Black Intensive Groundbreaking Program. And they facilitate it every year. They get a cohort of about 40 individuals from around the country, and it's a week long, and they do some deep organizing. And the program's so beautiful. Not only are you getting the tools needed to effectively organize in your jurisdiction or your cities, but it's like family reunion. You're meeting people whom you never met, but because of the shared interests and the shared, and you feel like you're meeting your people, your family, your tribe, and so you're building a network. But then there's a deep healing component. The healing component is like, there's a lot of somatic practices, a lot of really sitting with yourself, sitting and getting acquainted with your body, and being mindful of how your body is showing up in the world and how you're impacted by the world. So there's so many factors where there's so many ways in which I was impacted by my training. But people who either go through the training or if you're impacted by the criminal justice system, you may qualify for a trip to Africa. So they have also a program called Return and Reclaim, where
Yes.
they take impacted individuals who've been impacted by the criminal legal system, and take them to Ghana for free. But it's not like a sightseeing trip. It's not about what's the word? What's it called when the people on vacation?
Partying.
No, man. What's I don't know, but
Vacay.
yeah, I don't know. What do you call the people on vacation where they be wearing
Tours.
tourists? Yeah, it's not a
It's
tourist
not a
trip.
tourist. Yeah.
No,
Not a
no, it's
tourist
really
event.
it's about deep healing and connecting. It's about connecting with the land, connecting with the people, connecting with the culture, but more importantly, connecting with ourselves. Because we were doing some deep somatic, and the trip to me felt like it was like broken down into 3 sections. Like the first part was about identifying the trauma that has been imposed upon our people in the form of capitalism, in the form of colonialism, imperialism, racism, and understands the origins of it in the form of the transatlantic slave trade, how it impact those of us here and our people still on a continent. And the second part was, for me, was about healing from that. You know, what we need to do to heal from that and build from it. And the third part was about resilience, still finding joy and dignity in our lives, right? Because a lot of times we get bogged down in the work. Sometimes we get so overwhelmed by the pressures of life that we forget to really live. And we do have to right to live and be happy and to be in right relationship with our community folks and our families. So the trip was so profound to me. And we spent 2 weeks in Africa. And for me, it was so profound because not only am I going with organizers from around the country, it's about 45 of us. I'm going with some of my FCC fam, my boss, Mike Milton, my comrade, Tracy T. Spirit Stanton. She and I have been organizing together since 2019 in different organizations, and then we have kind of similar tracks. So that's like my comrade, my road dog, and last year we was like in like 7 different cities together. So to be on the continent was so. And then I went with another brother named Kamal X. It's so profound that he and I made our way to Africa together because just a few years ago, he and I was in a housing unit in the same prison together.
He just told me that too. When we
That's crazy.
Yeah, he say, man, I ain't even know that. You used to
Straight
be cooking the plates.
Huh?
He said you be cooking the plates.
Oh, you know that's the hustle. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy because I seen Kamal. Kamal started coming around through our power builders. So he was coming around just an attendee to receive some of that political education. Then he started volunteering. And then he became a power builder. And that's a part of our base building, the power builder membership.
Yeah.
And then we hired him. We hired him with FCC. But in the process, when I first seen him, I said, brother, you look familiar. And I was like, have you been incarcerated? He was like, yeah. And I asked him where. I said, yeah, I think that's where. And then one day after he was hired, he came and he ran up and he grabbed me. He was like, Ronnie, Amiyn, it's you. I'm like, what's up, brother? He's like, yeah, I just got off the phone with somebody who was still incarcerated. And I was telling him about my new job and the people I work with. And I mentioned that I work with his brother, Ronnie Amiyn. And they was like, Ronnie Amiyn? He was like, yeah, you know him? He said, yeah, everybody knows him locked up. You know him too? He said, I know him. He said, yes. That's the brother that was in a housing unit who used to do this and used to do that. He was like, what? That's him? And he came back to work so enthusiastic and energetic. But to see that brother who was incarcerated at 16, 17 years old, to see him touch a beach for the first time in Africa.
Woo.
Man. So there was a lot of internal conflict being there in the slave castles, in the dungeons where our people were stuffed and abused. Uh, and it was something to visit the door of no return. And that is the door in which captives were taken from the slave castles and boarded on to ships to be shipped to different parts of the world, and to be on the other side of the door of the door of no return, having returned. But I not only returned with our organizers and the people I with, I returned with my comrades, the people whom I had done time with. I had 2 pictures that I had blown up, and there was one picture was pictures of my comrades where we in the visiting room of the institution that we were in, performing prayer, making salat.
Mm-hmm.
And then years later, after I got released, I got to go back and visit my brothers in that same visiting room. Some of my same brothers who I left incarcerated, and we had taken a picture, and I took a picture, those 2 pictures together, and we took another picture on the side of the door, no return, returning back home. So it was symbolic for me, the whole trip. And the trip reoriented me in ways that I can't really describe. And it rewired my central nervous system. And we can talk all day about that trip, man. But I've been impacted in the way where I came back home, I came back to America after have left home, Africa, a little different. It reminded me of the bigger work, because a lot of times we get so caught up in the slither of work that we're doing. And we have to be reminded that whatever work we're doing to liberate our people is about a part of a bigger fight, to address what has happened to us globally, and not just locally.
Same conditions.
Same conditions, man. Same conditions.
And Mass Liberation Networks talks about connecting lineage, trauma, and leadership through that Ghana experience. What lessons from that journey are you bringing back to your work here in St. Louis?
One of the lessons is that, like, we are all the same, right? For some reason, we believe that we are different from one another. Whether it's, there's a lot of folks here in America, a lot of Black folks who believe that our African brothers and sisters don't like us, don't love us, don't care about us. And my trip in Africa, my trip to Ghana, showed me that that was furthest away from the truth. I was so surprised to learn that many of them function with the same understanding of racism and colonialism that we do. When we first got off the plane, we had a reception at the palace of King, I believe his name is King Taki. He's the king of the Akan people. And they received us into the palace. They had a big welcoming ceremony where there was dancing, there was drumming, and we were sitting in their court as he sat on his at his throne, and had his council speaking on his behalf. And they looked like they were translating, and all of us were in a room, and it was this big affair. And I thought he couldn't speak English because, he had his people speaking. But then he spoke perfect English, like he was from Compton on the north side somewhere. But he mentioned the transatlantic slavery and what that has done to our people. And he mentioned 400 years, and 400 years, that's too long for us to be away from home. And he welcomed us home. And when we went to Ghana, everyone said, welcome home. Everyone said we were brothers. And when he talked about the transatlantic slave trade, they didn't say what happened to them in the past. They didn't say what happened to you all in America. They said what happened to us. And I remember going to a compound, one of the ancestral rivers, and they have what is called the Last Bath, and it was a section that is symbolic of where African captives were made to bathe just before they go to the second post where they'd be auctioned
Auction off and sold.
to look more presentable. And so they have this big compound in this area, right? They have erected this big compound to commemorate those who've been impacted by those actions. And the walls were erecting these big portraits. And when you go inside and you see the portraits, you see pictures. And this is in Africa, brother. This is in Ghana. You see pictures of Brother Malcolm, Martin Luther King, Sojourner Truth, Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass, W.E.B. Du Bois, Nat Turner, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't see a difference. They say these are our heroes too. So one of the lessons that I would say that I've learned
That's
that
dope.
we are all one people. And I think it's important for us to get away from the separation. And so I am African. I'm not African. I'm African. I'm African. I'm not Afro. I'm African.
Plain and simple.
Plain and simple.
I like that. I think I had something else about the mask. How does reconnecting with our ancestors build the kind of eternal strength our communities need to survive and thrive outside of punishment systems?
I don't know. There's a number of different ways you can answer that. I think one is to really tap into like indigenous practices, practices that we've always had as a people, whether they're African practices or native, so-called native practices of the people that were on this land. How they dealt with conflict, how they dealt with problems, and how they facilitate their affairs in unity and love and the communal spirit. I think it's important that we tap into that. So we have to look back. We have to look back at those who came before us. So the direct link, meaning our elders, the people who are oldest, the people who are older in our community, the wiser in our community, look beyond them to those who before them and look beyond, and establish like really a link of lineage that we've gotten away from. So many times that we try to address our problems and try to recreate the wheel, recreate something new, when all we got to do is just listen to those who came before us, whether that's addressing our problems or how to live a balanced and healthy life. The answers are already there. And when we talk about organizing, how many times have you heard or watched a video of Malcolm and been like surprised, like he had the answers, right? And we still try to create, like they got the answers. So whether it's devising ways to deal with our opposition or trying to find a way to live a better and balanced life, it's about connecting with those who came before us.
Most definitely. I just finished this Be Real cohort back in Kansas City. That's it was sponsored and created by Kansas City Defender. You familiar with Kansas City Defender?
Nah.
They a big black. They one of the biggest black. I can say they kind of like abolitionist media source. But they came down here and did a story on the tornado. It's dope too. They did a videography, I guess.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's dope.
That's beautiful. I'm glad they did. Because when we talk about the tornado, it's crazy. Like when I travel, a lot of people throughout the country didn't know that St. Louis, the inner city, the north side and the west side was impacted by a big tornado, man, that displaced people, created a lot of damage. And as much damage that it caused, it's crazy that people outside of St. Louis didn't know anything about it. So I'm happy to hear that somebody from across the state knew about it and had the care and concern and the will and the desire to come and shine some light about how the people were impacted.
Yeah, they did a dope video. It's on their Instagram page. I know for sure.
I'm gonna
Decarcerate
check it out.
KC. Yeah. Not Decarcerate KC, I'm sorry. Kansas City Defender.
Okay.
That's the name of it. Kansas City Defender. Before we get out of here, I want you to tap on, just get the viewers a little information on the few campaigns Freedom Community Center is running and how they able to tap in and join in the fight.
So we have a few campaigns going. Care Not Cages, meaning just that, alternatives to addressing harm and violence. Practices that are rooted in abolition, that are rooted in love and compassion, and understanding the value, of seeing the value in people. So we have Care Not Cages, and we also have, why I just draw a blank?
No more jail deaths.
Oh, no more jail deaths. Here in St. Louis, in the city jail, over the past few years, the numbers are crazy in terms of how many people have died within the city jail, and not like died because of like natural causes, like totally preventable, and also demonstrates a lack of care on the part of the jailers or the system, the refusal of medical treatments, not treating people with dignity and respect, and just a total dismissal of their humanity. The conditions are horrid and unsanitary, inadequate food and clothing, and back to medical treatment.
Wow.
There was a time where I forgot how many people were housed in the Justice Center, but there was like one actual physician for everyone that was housed in the whole jail. That's crazy. Like, how can you adequately see people? And then we talk about, the conditions of the people that come in. Where are like the mental health services that address the mindset and conditions that people have? The people with like being denied their medication, and there was like this strong apathy amongst some of the staff that worked within the correctional center. So that campaign is just to bring a little light to the conditions of the jail and promotion of accountability of the people who run the jail. And also just bring the light where they're systemically, people within the government understood that there were very serious problems within the jail. And a citizen oversight review board was created to address it a few administrations ago, and mayoral administrations ago. And our last mayor, Tashara Jones, had appointed a number of people to this oversight committee to identify some of the problems and make recommendations. And over time, their powers were diminished or stripped away, where they couldn't really make any meaningful suggestions or impact. And there was a time where the jail administrators wouldn't allow the people on the board to go in and see the conditions, right? So the campaign was established to address all of these inequities and all of these issues. So if you really want to tap in, you can go to our website, get our contact information, and send us yours. And especially anybody who's been impacted. And I know this is a podcast coming out of Kansas City, but we are all connected, and we know people in different locales, people in different communities and cities. So anybody who's been impacted, please reach out. But if you know of any strategies that have worked in other places or any problems in other places, still reach out so we could build a network where we can address these not just locally, but across the state and across the country.
When is you guys power builder meetings?
Our power building meetings are the second and fourth Thursday of every month. We're currently on a hiatus until I think 2 months. But yeah, the second and fourth Thursday of every month. The second Thursday is for the general public, where people can come in. And the fourth Thursday is for our membership, Power Builder membership.
Oh, y'all switched it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And where can the people find you?
The people can find me. I ain't nobody to be found.
Man, everybody know Ronnie Amiyn. Don't
that's
let
not-
them fool y'all.
That's not true. That's not true. But if there is an instance of violence where you believe Freedom Community Center can support, so one of the things that we do is intervene in harm and violence and support people who have been impacted by harm. And sometimes there are urgent needs. And either the system doesn't show up in the way that is desired, or sometimes people don't have a trust in the system to give them what they need. So they'll contact us and we will come, we will intervene, de-escalate, and if need be, we will put people in a pathway of safety until we can determine how we can support them long term. And if there is an urgent matter and you need support, you are unsafe, you can call me at 314-403-2349. My email address is ronnie@freedomstl.org. So you can, if it's for power building, or you really need to be supported on your pathway of healing from the trauma imposed, healing from the trauma imposed by the violence, hit me up.
Okay, my boy. Also, like when I be doing these interviews, like I really be making meaningful connections on us building something that's not profitable but meaningful for the community in the future. So, talking to my brother earlier, we had a conference call with another one of the brothers. What was his name?
Ahasa.
Ahasa. And
Ahasa is dope.
yeah. And so we was just talking, and we was like brainstorming and came up with the idea of doing like a 3 or 4 part series with Freedom Community Center. So be looking forward to that coming up real soon, because I really want to do that. Like, this my home. That's why I started organizing it. So I'm gonna always be involved with something Freedom Community Center got. So, but like I said, thanks for coming out, bro. Thanks for giving us this interview.
I can't go without saying, man, I am so deeply proud of you, man. Man, I love you. You know I love you. We've been in each other's lives, man, since we were little. We were babies. I think that our mothers would be proud of us. And I know your mother would be so proud of you, brother. I love you, man. And I
love you too, bro.
I thank you for the work that you're doing and your willingness to really dig deep inside and in search of the things that you need. So I appreciate the work you're doing in KC, man, and I'm gonna come through and support however. And I want to apologize. So usually he will have some in KC. I win a few times, at least one time, and then the last time I didn't. So I want to apologize for my brother for that one time. I don't know.
Yeah, it was for my CMOS release.
Yeah, and I wanted to come through, man. And I was tripping, so I apologize publicly for that, brother.
I ain't tripping. That was last
and
minute.
Inshallah, that will never happen again, bro.
That was last minute. But thank y'all for joining us. We keep us safe the movement. Haru Amin Ra, Ronnie Amiyn, Freedom Community Center. Peace and power.
Peace and power.